Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of the Eleusinian Society. The Kybalion is a book released in 1908 and was authored supposedly by a group of men only known as the Three Initiates. Its teachings are based in Hermeticism, a philosophical system that is based off the teachings of the early Hellenistic legend Hermes Trismegistus. Hermes Trismegistus, or Hermes Thrice Great, was said to be a powerful being that was inspired by the likings of the Greek god Hermes and the Egyptian god Thoth. Some scholars believe that the book was authored by the New Thought leader William Walker Atkinson, although this hasn't been fully confirmed. Either way, this book is a must-read for any esoteric learner that wishes to understand more about the workings of the universe and our humanly connection to our Creator. Today we will delve into the 7 parts of the Kybalion, broken into principles or laws of the universe. Number 1. All is mind. The universe is mental. The common universal question in the minds of man usually revolves around the idea of the meaning of life or purpose of being. We spend years of our life wondering if everything we do in our daily lives is worth it, or if it's all for naught. Through meditation, prayer, or even psychoactive drugs, humans have been able to expand their internal vision and traverse the planes of thought through the spiritual self. In the ancient temple of Eleusis, the breeding ground for Stoicism and philosophical teachings in Greece, and the namesake of this channel, historical figures would attend the temple and allegedly partake in mind-altering experiences, imitating the experience of death and rebirth. The experience was so profound and esoteric that any mention of the ceremonies involved would result in violent repercussions. In this chapter of the Kybalion, which touches on the power of mind in the universe, it is brought forth that through universal laws of creation, the only viable way that the All, or the universal embodiment of God, could have created the visual plane is by mental fabrication. Every experience that we feel in the world is created through power of our brains and sensory organs, explaining the feeling of transmitting those feelings to our cranial hard drive. In a similar fashion, the All creates the universe and all of its parts, atoms, elements, and creatures using its higher sense of mentality. Humanity, compared to the All, is but a small ocean creature compared to humanity. We cannot conceptualize the true nature of how the All works, as we are not mentally capable of doing so with a human mind. Number 2. The Principle of Correspondence. The best way to explain the Principle of Correspondence is through this excerpt from the Kybalion. The old Hermetic axiom, as above, so below, may be pressed into service at this point. Let us endeavor to get a glimpse of the workings on higher planes by examining those on our own. The principle of correspondence must apply to this as well as to other problems. On his own plane of being, how does man create? Well, first he may create by making something out of outside materials. But this will not do, for there are no materials outside the All of which it may create. Well then, secondly, man procreates or reproduces his by the kind of process of begetting, which is self-multiplication accomplished by transferring a portion of his substance into his offspring. But this will not do, because the All cannot transfer or subtract a portion of itself, nor can it reproduce or multiply itself. In the first place, there would be a taking away, and in the second case, a multiplication or addition to the All, both thoughts being an absurdity. There is no third way in which a man creates. Well, yes, there is. He creates mentally, and in doing so, he uses no outside materials, nor does he reproduce himself, and yet his spirit pervades the mental creation. Following the principle of correspondence, we are justified in considering that the All creates the universe mentally, in a manner akin to the process whereby man creates mental images. The Kybalion. Number 3. The Principle of Vibration. Everything moves, everything vibrates, nothing is completely still. This principle is based in the truth that whether it be a kinetic level or a molecular level, everything in the universe moves and vibrates. When a string on a guitar is plucked, a sound is made through the vibration of the string and the actual body of the guitar itself. The tone vibrates through the air and then vibrates the bones in our ear, which then vibrates our eardrums and sends a message through nerves to our brain, letting us know that the sound has been made. In this example, we have experienced metal, plastic, wood, air, organic matter, and a nerve ending all experiencing vibration at the same time. In the same way that we can hear those tones of music, the universe too creates sound and vibrations, which can affect us on a physical and spiritual level. At the most frequent rates of vibration, the rate is in such motion that it appears to be motionless to the human eye. At low levels of vibration, objects move so slow that they appear to be completely still. By this logic, those who practice the teachings of Hermeticism and Kybalion occultism believe that by honing their own vibrations mentally, they can positively or negatively affect their own outcomes in life, as the all uses universal vibrations to manipulate its own creations. Number 4, the Principle of Polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. This is a very common and important Hermetic teaching. We learn through duality the importance of diversity, but also the universality of opposites. The properties which make up opposites are properties that only differ on a spectral level. For example, cold and hot are the same. When does cold become hot? At what degree Celsius does the temperature shift from cold to hot? Cold is just a different level of heat, and vice versa. In this universe, there are absolute truths and relative truths. An example of relative versus absolute truth can be found in the political climate of today. We see truth at the level of our own morality and beliefs, but absolute truth is final. A molecule of water will always have 1 oxygen and 2 hydrogen atoms. This is absolute. Whether or not the water is clean or dirty is relative. By acknowledging that love, like, dislike, and hate are all on the same plane of thought, we can use mental alchemy to adjust our emotions and create a more positive outlook even when we disagree with a differing view. Number 5, the Principle of Rythym. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swung manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. As with the principle of polarity, we acknowledge that there is duality in the world laid out in a spectrum. The principle of rhythm is the constant movement between the poles. In history, civilizations have risen and fell, always creating something new out of destruction. A rebirth following a death. As humans, we acknowledge that we all must die. However, once we die, our bodies give way to new life through fertilization. The classic scientific law of matter cannot be created or destroyed is an epitome of this concept. The rhythm of the world is that all lives and all is destroyed. Nothing is for certain. If we understand this concept, we can mentally speed up the rhythm in our own lives between the planes of happiness and tragedy, and understand our own lives at a level more closely resembling a chess game than a hopeless soul wandering about. Number 6, the Principle of Cause and Effect. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for a law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. The basis of this principle can be explained simply by a word many of us hear often: karma. This Hermetic teaching enlightens us that everything happens for a reason and that nothing is without cause. Our actions directly affect the way society and the universe sees us, and likewise our thoughts manifest to create a positive or negative outcome depending on their intent. If we live our lives in a depressive state and take no action to climb out of that mental hole, we can never rehabilitate and grow from it. If we are happy in our lives and start to doubt, we cannot remain happy. This principle can also be attributed to the importance of practice in recreation. The more time we spend devoted to learning or perfecting a craft, whether it be art, music, sports, etc., the higher level of skill earned. It is very rare, if not impossible, to find a prodigy or talent that has seldom practiced. What we put into life is what we get out of it, a cause and effect manifested internally through mental manipulation. Number 7. The principle of gender. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. In similarity to duality and polarity, this principle teaches us that everything that exists has masculine and feminine qualities. These qualities majorly have nothing to do with sex, but instead offer new insight into the balance of personality and property. Masculinity offers the characteristics of being penetrative, assertive, progressive, conquesting, explorative energy that drives progress. Feminine qualities offer characteristics of receptivity, sacredness, protective energy, all while nourishing that which is most essential to life. The effect that a being or object has on the world determines their level on the gender spectrum according to universal law. While a field of wheat possesses the feminine qualities of fertility and a gentle sway in the breeze, a mushroom is a masculine phallic display of fungal conquest on a forest floor, spreading its being wherever decay and death allow. This has been an explanation of all 7 principles of the Kybalion, rules that we can follow as human beings to better understand our Creator and our creation, as well as the likings of our human mind and the hidden power it has within us. Through these principles, we can hone our mind and spirit in hopes that one day we reach true knowledge and wisdom. I thank you for joining us on another episode of the Eleusinian Society. I'm your host Mitchell, and make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below if you have any suggestions for further videos.